of ADAU TV channel. I am Shahla, assistant at the Department of Biology. Today I'll give information about a plant cell. Throughout my lesson, I want to give enough information about plant physiology of plant cell. Now, enjoy your watching. This is a literature of plant cell and also plant physiology. The first is Lincoln Theis, Edward Zeiger, Plant Physiology. Albert Johnson, Lewis Ruff, Roberts, Molecular Biology of Cell. Buchan, Grusem and Jones, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology of Plants. Gunning, Steer, Plant Cell. Hopkins, Norman, Hanner, Introduction to Plant Physiology, its last edition. Kibble, Reiner, Practical Plant Physiology. Then our lecture plan. The first I talk about characteristics of plant cell, then about cell theory, and the last one is cell structures or cell organelles. The first point of our lecture is about characteristics of plant cell. What is a cell? A cell is the basic unit of life from which larger structures such as tissue and organs are made. Plant cells are eukaryotic cells present in green plants, photosynthetic eukaryotics of the kingdom Plantae. Overview of plant structure. Plants are Earth's primary producers, harvest energy from sunlight by converting light energy into chemical energy. They store this chemical energy in bonds formed when they synthesize carbohydrates from carbon dioxide and water. The vegetative body of plant consists of leaf, in where we can watch photosynthesis process and so on. Then we see stems. Stems supports water and mineral solutions. Roots in charge and absorption of water and minerals and ions of minerals. Then we can see nodes. It's a leaf attached of them. Internode is a region between two nodes. Our second point of my lecture is about cell theory. In 1838, Matthias Schleiden stated all plants composed of cells. In 1839, Theodor Schwann stated all animals also composed of cells, thus claimed all living things composed of cells. Then, in 1858, Rudolf Virchow, he said, all cells come from pre-exciting cells. The three main parts of the cell theory are, the first is energy flows occurs within cells. And the second one is hereditary information, DNA, desoxyribonucleic acid, is passed on from the cell to cell. All cells have the same basic chemical composition. In spite of the differences in size and complexity, all cells are mostly composed of the same substance and carry out similar life functions. This includes growth, development, photosynthesis, respiration, metabolism, reproduction by cell division. Our last point and main point of our lecture is cell structures, all cell organelles. This is a plant cell. We can see different organelles. We can see different organelles in a plant cell. Now we can see them. Now we can watch and talk about it. The plant cell. All plant cells have the same basic eukaryotic organization. However, at maturity, when they became specialized, plant cells may differ greatly from one another in their structures and functions, even those physically next to each other. Even the nucleus can be lost in some plant cells. Contains many organelles with specific own functions, enclosed by a membrane which defines their boundaries. Don't forget the cell wall. The main plant cell organelles is cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, Endoplasmic Reticulum or ER, this one. Next it's Golgi network, Mitochondria, Lysosomes, Chloroplast, microfilaments, Ribosomes and Vacuole. The membrane, the primary cell wall is deposited before and during growth of the cell. Actively dividing cells typically only have primary of walls. Secondary cell walls are usually formed after the cell has stopped growing and the primary cell wall is no longer increasing in surface area. And the secondary cell walls forms between the primary cell wall and the protoplast. Now we can see in this picture cell wall under electron microscope. Cell walls are held together by the middle lamella, made up cellulose, xyloglucan, pectin, proteins, different ions, also calcium ions, lignin and other ions, and actually water. Plasmodesma. Each contains a tube called a desma tubule, which is part of the ER, endoplasmic reticulum. This is what connects adjoining cell and allow chemical communication and transport of materials throughout the whole plant. The restriction acts to control the size of the molecules which pass through this desma tubule. Plasmodesma, I don't know you can see or not, plasmodesma allow the transport of substance from one cell to the next. They are cytoplasm threads which connect the living protoplast of adjoining cells. The membrane, composed of a phospholipid bilayer and protein. The phospholipid sets up the bilayer structure. Phospholipids have hydrophilic heads and fatty acid tails. The plasma membrane is fluid, that is, proteins move in a fluid lipid background. Plant cytoskeleton, this is a network of microtubules and filaments that plays a primary role in maintaining the plant cell shape and giving the cell cytoplasm support and maintaining its structural organization. These filaments and tubules normally extend all over the cell through the cell cytoplasm, besides giving support and maintaining the cell and the cell cytoplasm. It's also involved in the transportation of cellular molecules, cell division, and cell signaling activities in plant cell. It's a cytoplasm of the plant cell. This is a gel-like matrix lying just below the cell membrane, housing most of the cell organelles. It's made up of actual water, enzymes, salts, ions of different ions, salts, organelles, and various organic molecules. It's not classified as one of the cell's organelles. Why? Because it doesn't process major roles in except being a physical medium for holding and housing most of the complex cell's interior organelles and being a medium for transporting and processing cell molecules from maintaining cell life. The nucleus isn't classified as part of the cytoplasm because it's double-layered, centrally placed, features, and it has its own organelles and the suborganelles enclosed with it. The nucleus contains almost all of the genetic material. What is contained is called the nuclear genome. This varies greatly between plant species. Surrounded by nuclear envelope, double membrane, some also as the plasma membrane. The nuclear pores allow for the passage of micromolecules and ribosome subunits in and out of the nucleus. You can see the nucleus and nuclear envelope, and also we can see in nucleus, nucleolus. Nucleus have two bilayer membrane, inner membrane and outer membrane. And we can watch in this membrane nuclear pores. The nucleolus. The primary role of the cell nucleolus is its function of the cellular control center. The presence of the nuclear membranes, it encloses the nucleus and its contents from the cytoplasm organelles. This nuclear membrane has the nuclear envelope, which has several nuclear pores which offer selective permeability to and from the nucleus at the cytoplasm. Chromosomes, they are also known as the chromatids. They are found in the cell nucleus, almost of the cells. They have 6 long strands of desoxyribonucleic acid or DNA, which divide into 46 separate molecules which pair up into 2 made of 23 molecules per chromosome. To form a functional DNA, desoxyribonucleic acid unit, it's combined with the cell proteins to form a compact structure of denser fiber like strands known as chromatin. In this picture we can see the nucleus. A nucleus also has a nuclear envelope and a nuclear pore to have information and to give information with DNA. Nucleolus. The nucleolus is the largest structure in the nucleus of eukaryotic cells. It's the best known as the site of ribosome biogenesis. Nucleoli also participate in the formation of the signal recognition particles and play a role in the cell's response to stress. Nucleoli are made of proteins, desoxyribonucleic acid, and also ribonucleic acid or RNA, and form of around specific chromosomal regions which call it nuclear organizing regions. The endoplasmatic reticulum, or we can say ER, connected to the nuclear envelope through the network of continuous tubules that course through the cytoplasm. There are 2 types of endoplasmatic reticulum ER, smooth ER and raw ER. Raw ER is synthesized process and sort proteins targeted to membranes, vacuoles, or the secretory pathway. Smooth ER synthesizes lipids and oils, also acts as an anchor point for actin filaments, controls cytosolic concentrations of calcium ions, and so on. In the plasmatic reticulum, in the plasmatic reticulum, proteins are made in the raw ER, lumen by an attached ribosome. Protein detaches from the ribosome. The ER floats is on outside from a transport vesicle. that transport vesicle buds off and moves to the cytoplasm. Either fuses with plasma membrane and fuses with Golgi apparatus or Golgi network. It doesn't matter. Ribosomes. This is the organelle responsible for protein synthesis of the cell. Natural ribosomes are made up of two subunits. Small, this one, and large subunits, both classified according to their sedimentation rates by the S unit, containing a subunit of desoxyribonucleic acid and also ribonucleic acid. Ribosomes' major functions is to synthesize proteins for the cellular function, such as cell repair mechanism. Golgi network or Golgi apparatus doesn't matter. Proteins or lipids also proteins or lipids made in the ER contain transport vesicle fused with the Golgi. The Golgi modifies proteins and lipids from the ER, sorts them and packages them into transport vesicles. This transport vesicle buds off and moves to the cytoplasm, fused with plasma membrane. We can see a ribosome in Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus near the nucleus. The mitochondria. The mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. Hence, their major function is generating energy for the cell. Contain their own DNA. They are bilayer and protein synthesizing machinery. Ribosomes transfer RNAs, nucleotides, divide by fusion. The desoxyribonucleic acid is in the form of circular chromosome like bacteria. DNA replication is independent from DNA replication in the nucleus. The mitochondria, site of the cellular respiration. This process requires oxygen, composite of the three stages. The first is glycolysis, then Krebs cycle, and the last one is electron transport. In glycolysis, glucose, which is made in the photosynthesis process, splitting occurs in the cell. Glucose is converted to pyruvate, or it means pyruvate acid. Krebs cycle is electrons are removed, carriers and are changed, and carbon dioxide is produced. This occurs in the mitochondria. Electron transport. Electrons are transferred to oxygen. This produces water and ATP. It means adenosine triphosphate. And also adenosine monophosphate or adenosine diphosphate occurs in the mitochondria. Plastids of plant cell. Plastids are specialized organelles found especially in a plant and algae cells. They have a double bilayered membrane. They have characteristic pigments that aid their mechanism majorly in food processing and storage. These pigments also determine the color of the plant. They are actively involved in manufacturing food for the plant by photosynthetic due to the presence of chlorophyll pigment in chloroplast. They are also stored food in the form as starch. They have the ability to synthesize fatty acid and terpenes that produces energy for the cell's mechanism. It's proplastid, then in etioplast, chromoplast, chloroplast, leucoplast, gerontoplast, and there are three types of leucoplast: amyloplast, elaioplast, and proteinoplast. Types of plastids. Plastids are classified based on their functions and the presence of the characteristics of pigments. They include chloroplast, chromoplast, gerontoplast, and last one is leucoplast. Chloroplast, green plastid, used in photosynthesis. Chromoplast, colored plastid, used to synthesize and store plant pigments. Gerontoplast, they dismantle photosynthetic apparatus during aging of plants. And the last one is leucoplasts. Leucoplasts, they are colorless plastids used to manufacture terpene substance that protects our plants. They can differentiate forming specialized plastids, performing a variety of functions, and so on. They have 4 types: amyloplast, elioplast, proteinoplast, and so on. The first one is chloroplast. It's the main and major chloroplast plastid of plant cell. Contains their own desoxyribonucleic acid or DNA and protein synthesizing machinery. Ribosomes transfer RNA, ribonucleic acids, and also nucleotides. Then divide by fusion. The DNA, desoxyribonucleic acid, is in the form of circular chromosomes like bacteria. DNA replication is independent from DNA replication in the nucleus. Membranes contain chlorophyll and its associated proteins, site of photosynthesis. Have inner and outer membrane. It's bilayer membrane, and third membrane is system. It's thylakoid, and thylakoid, back of thylakoid, granum, surrounded by stroma. It's like a jelly, works like mitochondria. During photosynthesis, ATP from stroma provides energy for the production of sugar molecules. We know photosynthesis has 2 main stages. It's a light stage and dark stage, or light independent and light independent stage. Light dependent or light stage going in thylakoids, but dark stage going in stroma of chloroplast. Chromoplast, gerontoplast, and leucoplast, they are also plastids of plant cell. Chromoplasts give distinctive colors to plant parts such as flowers, fruits, and leaves. Differentiation of chloroplast to chromoplast makes the fruits of plant ripen. They synthesize and store plant pigments such as yellow pigments for xanthophylls, orange for carotenes. This gives the plant and its parts the color. Then gerontoplast. Gerontoplast plastids of the plant cell. These plastids found in plant leaves are the organelles responsible for cell aging. They differentiate from chloroplast when the plant starts to age and they cannot perform photosynthesis anymore. They appear as unstacked chloroplasts without a thylakoid membrane and accumulation of phosphoglobulin that is used in producing energy for the cell. Leucoplasts, plastids of the plant cell. These are non-pigmented cells, plastids. Since they lack the chloroplast pigments, they are found in non-photosynthetic parts of the plants, like the roots and seeds. The main function of the leucoplast includes storage of starch, lipids, and proteins. They also use it to convert amino acid and fatty acid in cell. The vacuole. The vacuole can be from 18 to 90% of the plant cell contained within a vacuole membrane or tonoplast. Contains water, organic ions, inorganic acids, sugars, enzymes, and secondary metabolites required for plant cell enlargement. Pressure generating by vacuoles provides the structural rigidity needed to keep herbaceous plants in turgid. Vacuoles are membrane-bound organelles filled with the cell sap. The membrane is referred to as the tonoplast. Different kinds of vacuoles may have different functions within the same cell. Along with the water-based cell sap, vacuoles typically contain salts, sugars, and some dissolved proteins. This is a plant cell under electron microscope, and we see in this picture one big, large central vacuole because this plant is aging. Beetroot cell walls. In beetroot cell walls, we under light microscope we can vacuoles containing anthocyanin. Anthocyanin is also plastid. It's purple. Cell wall. There are three main parts of cell. It's cell wall, nucleus, and vacuole. Physiological processes that take place within the cell are given below. Autophagy, it's the process wherever cells eat their own internal components or microbial invaders. Adhesion is a chemical process through which the cells are held together. Cell division is the process of reproduction through two major types, mitosis and meiosis. Cell signaling it's a regulation and signaling of hormones and neurotransmitters. We know plants has phytohormones. It's auxin, gibberellin, so on. Then repairing, desoxyribonucleic repairing, and also ribonucleic acid repairing. RNA and protein transcription. This is main physiological process which produced in plant cell. For your attention, I wish you good luck. Thank you.